Today on Doomed! Dudes in Disarray. I just randomly actually came up with that. I think that needs to be the title of the episode because on today's episode of Doomed, we are talking about what's going on with the dudes. Andrew Tate in prison for alleged, and it seems weird to even say alleged, but I'll say alleged, and we'll get into why you could probably leave the word alleged out, but alleged human trafficking, and what his fans have been saying about it. And also, this week, AI deepfake porn has been in the discourse after some streamers did some really weird thing with AI and porn. Well, all that, and who knows, maybe even more. And joining me now to discuss it all, let's pull her up on the screen here. Oh, where are we go? Here we are. TYT contributor and Twitch streamer, Rayyvana. Ray, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. The chat is saying there's no picture.
It's they're a little bit behind, and okay. I don't know why I was in slow motion with that intro. But it should be now. We should now be on the screen. I'm sure people will. I see it now on YouTube.
But what the people really want to know, Matt, is what color is your Bugatti?
What color is my Bugatti? I don't have a Bugatti. I have the cars I've had, Rayyvana. Let me tell you. I had my first ever vehicle was a sleek 1985 Dodge Ram conversion van. That was the present for my high school graduation. It was a $1,000 jalopy that I saw sold locally. And my band at the time needed a band van. And so my first car was a van with a retractable, like automatic couch that turned into a bed in the back.
Oh.
It was not for what anyone is thinking it was for. It was for the band. We needed a tour van.
You know, if Andrew Tate had a van like that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't think that'd be stylish enough for him because he doesn't have the pizzazz and the style necessary for a vehicle of that nature.
Yeah, he couldn't pull it off. My first car was a Geo Tracker. I got it for $700 on Craigslist, and it ran for 8 months before it set on fire while I was driving it. So,
wow,
not as cool as a van with a couch.
I didn't know cars can do that if they weren't Teslas.
Yeah, Elon Musk had something to do with it.
Well, Rayyvana, I don't have a Bugatti. I know Andrew Tate has or had Bugattis. Now, actually, last time you came on, and I think that was the first time you came on, which again, unforgivable of me. You need to be on this show more often. And only to discuss Andrew Tate, though. We're just going to do monthly Andrew Tate episodes with you coming on 12 times a year.
Every time they issue another month of detention for him in Romanian prison, I'll give updates.
Right. So you came on originally just to tell me, like, it was the first episode I had on Andrew Tate, just to discuss, because, you know, he wasn't in prison 6 months ago, but he was sort of, I guess, getting mainstream attention as he was, you know, really popping off on the social media apps that all the young hip kids were on. And he was launching some new university, some top G, hustle, loyalty, respect. No, that's John Cena. Some top G school where he scams his viewers into giving him loads of money just for him to say, like, I don't know, abuse women and you'll get women. Yeah. Really bizarre stuff. But I think I've actually summarized who Andrew Tate is right there. But can you tell me what happened to Andrew Tate at the end of last year? that sort of, I don't know, upended his whole world.
Yeah. So I think we talked about it last time I was on. Andrew Tate has been under investigation for sex trafficking for, you know, almost a year now. The first raid of his compound has his name printed in huge letters on the side of the wall of the house, which is so funny. Was April of 2022, and they recovered an American woman who said she was being held against her will, but they needed, I guess, to further the investigation before they could arrest him and his brother and like several other people who were involved in his sex trafficking criminal organization. But he really has just been blowing up for the past about the past year. And it has a lot to do with Hustlers University, which you were talking about, which was his way of scamming young men into joining his Discord for $40 a month. And it's supposed to teach them the secrets to getting women, but really it's just like an incentive program to post videos of him because he's banned from almost every platform. But at the end of this year, he was unbanned from Twitter by Elon Musk, of course, and he decided to attack Greta Thunberg for no reason whatsoever. And she owned him in what was like the second most liked tweet in Twitter history. But right after that, and there's no connection, but I just like thinking that Greta Thunberg ratioed Andrew Tate into oblivion.
Right, into prison.
Into prison.
I mean, there was like those rumors. So basically, like, you know, he knocked her for what was it that she posted? It was something I don't even remember. Jeez.
She didn't post anything first. He just posted this long.
He randomly went after her. I could have. I know I was that last year of 2020. That last week, excuse me, of 2022. I was like completely off the grid. So while this was all happening, I was like, "What's going on? Why is Andrew Tate and Greta fighting? Why? First of all, as far as I recalled, she and Andrew Tate have very little overlap, unless she also recently launched a hustle school that I was unaware of. I think I'd pay for her hustle school. I'd let Greta scam me.
Yeah, she deserves it. Yeah, but so he posted this tweet that was like listing off the names of all of his cars and like how he was like, and they have massive emissions. And he was like saying, you know, I'll let you see my cars. Or it was like weirdly like flirtatious. And then she quote tweeted it and said, sure, you can email. Or he asked for her email so that he could provide her a full list of his vehicles. And she quote tweeted, she said, sure, my email is smalldickenergy at something, you're a loser, something like that. And then he posted a follow-up video that was so much weirder. He was wearing a robe and for no reason whatsoever, like exposes his nipple in the middle of the video. But at one point he asks for a pizza and his brother, I guess off camera, hands him a pizza box. So there was like a rumor that the pizza box, because it was a Romanian pizza company, confirmed that he was in Romania at the time so they could arrest him because he has a lot of properties in Saudi Arabia. So they knew at that point that he was there. It hasn't been confirmed. I think it's pretty much been like, you know, people were just speculating.
I remember I do remember someone pointing out that like a few tweets before that, he literally posted a photo of him in Romania saying something like, great to be back in Romania or something like that. So I think that one probably tipped them off more than anything. Yeah. If it was a social media post, probably the one where he says, I am here in Romania. Here are my exact coordinates.
Hello from my sex crime dungeon in Romania.
Yes. But it is fun to think that, first of all, can't think of anything lamer than deciding that you need to reply. First of all, you lost the second you got into a fight with a teenage girl. And she owns you on top of that, too. And you're a grown man, obviously. Second of all, you lose again when you decide to take a text post battle and send your reply in video format.
To show how not mad you are.
Yes, you lose.
But the insults from the video were really bad, too, because he was like, it was so weird that Greta sent me her own email, small dick energy. Huh. her own email. Is she saying she has small dick energy? I was like, are you 8? like,
Right.
like it's just a child's insult. I don't know.
So
it was good.
Right. I think it was a good one. So he gets into this fight with her. Jesus Christ. He gets into a fight with Greta, and then days later, he's arrested with his brother. His brother was arrested too. And word quickly comes out that he and like you said, there was rumblings, and he was previously, I remember, taken in, but just for a few hours or something. That's when we discussed it 6 months ago. But this time they arrested him and put him in prison, and he's still there. He's been there for I believe 30 days at this point, if not more.
Exactly a month. Yeah.
Right. And they're basically building a case against him for human trafficking. Apparently 6 women have said they've been held against their will. And basically Andrew Tate has used them to promote his webcam. I mean, forced them, it seems, to perform on his webcam service. Basically like a webcam porn service, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what he's accused of is the lover boy method of sex trafficking. So I think a lot of people have like a misconception of what human trafficking is, that it's like snatching someone off the sidewalk and like forcing them into sex slavery, which happens. It does. But the most common form is like you groom someone into thinking that you're going to have a relationship with them and establish this trust. And then in his case, that's what he would do with these women online. And then they would fly to Romania to meet him, where they thought they were going to marry him. And then instead, and in some cases, he would take their passports so they couldn't leave. So now they're in a country where they don't speak the language. They have no familiarity with their surroundings. They're not allowed to leave the house. And they're being forced to do webcam work. There has also been, along with the allegations, that he beat some of the women and rape allegations, which he's had rape allegations against him since 2013. 3 different women reported to the UK police that he had raped them or assaulted them, and they mishandled that case, and they eventually didn't suggest that it be prosecuted after sitting on it for 4 years. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, so these women were held against their will and forced to do webcam content. You know, it's very serious, but one funny thing about it, so they're doing the on-cam work, but Andrew Tate was doing all of the sexting, sending like sexy messages to the men.
I mean, I guess if he let them do it, they could have ostensibly, one of them could have been like, please help me. I'm being trapped against my will. Right. I mean, oh my God. I didn't know that. That's, jeez. I mean, I mean, and he, from what I saw, video and in posts, basically gave the whole game away right on his website, like explained exactly what he did as part of his like hustle method he provided to his Hustler University loyal subscribers or whatever.
Yeah, his original website. So before Hustlers University, he had another program, I can't remember the name of it, but it was to teach people how to be successful with webcam businesses. And on the website, he said, my job was to make them fall in love with me, get them to think I'm going to marry them, get them so that they would do anything to keep me happy. And then, so like in your own words, you're doing the Loverboy method. And I will say in the Vice just put out a documentary about Andrew Tate that was filmed before the charges, before the arrest. And at one point in the documentary, the guy asks him, you've been accused of, forcing these women to do sex work after they fell in love with you. And Andrew Tate, of his own volition, says, oh, yes, the Loverboy method. And it's like, bro, no one said that. You shouldn't know that if you're not doing it.
Wow. I mean,
kind of hard to defend yourself after all of this.
It's really bizarre that they even he even calls it that, like openly like that.
Yeah.
Like, is he gonna like pull out like a folder with like the entire here are the details. This is the method step by step. Very bizarre. So he's actually seems to be now. Is he have access to his social media? Because he's been posting ever since. And that's why people thought that he was released when he actually wasn't. Now, does he have access to this, or is someone posting for him? What's going on here?
Yeah, so people have said that he gives tweets to his attorney when he meets with his attorney to work on the case, and then the attorney either tweets them or he has other people on his like PR team tweeting them out. Which, if you have a PR team and you're tweeting out all that bullshit, you should get a different PR team, because they are not doing a good job at making you look innocent.
I mean, I gotta say too that if I was in jail for any reason whatsoever, the last thing I would think about is posting online. I mean, it would be freedom. Like, I'd never feel more free in prison away from social media. I would be like, get that shit out of my face, never again.
Especially considering so much of his like online life has been him admitting to doing crimes on camera. Like, there's a video of him saying that he keeps swords around the house because, if a woman starts asking questions, then you can just point it at her and say, go make me a sandwich. There's a video where he at length describes how he would commit tax fraud and steal money from the women who were, working for him, and like give them fake tax forms to sign, and so that he could steal more of their money, and then admitted to never paying taxes on it in the first place, which he's not charged for tax fraud, but
right.
I
remember reading that. Yeah, that he was going to he was telling them how he was paying for their, like, covering their taxes or helping them with that or something, and he was just keeping the money.
Yeah, he would say, because they're supposed to have like a 30-70 split. So his example was like, oh, if it's $10,000, if they bring $10,000 in a month, then I'm going to give them 1,000 or 2,000. And then they'll be like, hey, where's the rest? And I'll just say, it's for taxes. You don't want to go to jail, right? You got to pay your taxes. But he was just keeping it. So they thought that they were paying taxes on that money, and they were not. And he wasn't paying taxes. He also is of the mind that you don't have to pay taxes on like transactions that happen with crypto, which I think is really funny. I mean, it's obviously the brunt of his criminal activity is significantly more, evil and harmful than tax evasion.
Right.
But
well, I think at this point, if they're gonna get him on everything, they should get him on everything. I mean,
yeah.
And God forbid he gets off on what they're going at him for. I would prefer him to go down for anything if it seems they don't have enough. Or it seems like they do at this point, but it's also a bit weird that it is weird that they maybe not. I don't know how it is in Romania, but I thought when they requested the extra 30 days to make their case, and we haven't really heard anything from it. So I wonder if they have everything, and I didn't think they would take all 30 days, but maybe that's what they're doing on purpose.
So what happened? So it's 60 days now.
Oh, it's 60 days now.
Yeah. So originally in Romanian, in the judicial system, you can be detained for 24 hours after you're arrested. It's a mandatory 24 hours. So in this case, they requested, a judge to issue a 30-day extension for detention, which apparently is really uncommon that they grant those. But because Andrew Tate has multiple properties in other countries, I guess he's a big flight risk. So they extended it. And then recently, just like the last week, the judge granted another 30 days after that because, and the judge in the statement said that the crimes were so heinous, and the evidence that was presented to the judge, the preliminary evidence, suggested these types of violent crimes, and also that he was a flight risk, that they ordered that additional extension, which is even less common in their judicial system. So it really just seems like the prosecutors are going to build up the absolute best case they can before they get to the point where he might get released, a pending trial. But honestly, I don't even think that that's feasible. I'm pretty sure they're going to keep him in jail all the way up until his trial happens. And then, and I really do think they're going to put him away for a long time, because Romania has had a lot of pressure from this organization, ironically, which is called Greta. It's so funny, to prosecute human trafficking, sex trafficking in the country, because apparently it's a huge problem that's sort of gone unchecked for a long time. one of the reasons Andrew Tate wanted to live there in the first place. So they're under all this pressure from the UN. So I really don't think someone high profile like Andrew Tate is gonna get out the other side of this unscathed. Like I definitely think they're gonna try to use him as an example at the least. But I mean, there is just an abundance of evidence. None of the appeals of his attorneys have been accepted. You know, I've seen a lot of Andrew Tate fans being like, oh, well, his attorney argued that there's no new evidence introduced. It's like, yeah, but the judge didn't accept that appeal. So clearly there was. Like, yeah, I mean, things don't look good for him, and I'm glad. I wish him all the worst.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'll amend what I said before. The original 30 days and not knowing this update, I thought as we got close to these 30 days, and now I realize we're over them, I was like, yeah, no news. Maybe they're, prosecutors all the time sometimes don't want to, go ahead with a case if they don't think it's a slam dunk or something. So I was wondering, man, what's going on with this? But now that I know this with the extension and that it's 60 days now, and that the judge said what he said, it does sound like, and I'm not making, again, this is my area of expertise, but just from my own personal opinion of what it seems like now, it does seem like he might be screwed here.
Yeah. He's very screwed here. Do you know who Aiden Ross is?
I do. And
I'm so sorry.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like,
no.
Like, I don't understand. I don't see it. I don't see what people see in him. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. So for anyone watching who doesn't know, Aiden Ross is one of the biggest streamers on Twitch. I couldn't describe to you what he does because he doesn't do much of anything on his stream.
He gambled a lot. I remember that, but that's banned on Twitch now.
Yeah, he was big into the crypto gambling, the stake stuff.
A lot of those guys got really big on Twitch. It's honestly, he's might be one of the, and I say this respectfully, dumbest people I've ever seen.
The video of him trying to read the word fascist, and then he's trying to read Benito Mussolini's name, and he says Benito Musili, like it's fusilli pasta.
I mean, how have you not come across it? Like, even if you cannot read, how have you not just heard that name in passing and go, oh, this must be this guy?
Even the word authoritarian he reads as authorization. Like, dude.
I saw that video, and I really did wonder if he was doing it on purpose, because it was just it was too much. I almost couldn't believe it.
It's bad, but there's been, like, apparently a lot of videos of him trying to read things on stream other than just his chat, sending emotes, and it's always, like, egregious. But he was on Andrew Tate's list of very limited people who could visit him in jail. So Andrew Tate and Aiden Ross have a very weird relationship. I'd say that Aiden Ross is sort of being groomed by Andrew Tate in the same lover boy method, essentially, but not for sex purposes, but for the use of his platform and continued defense to his massive audience.
I don't know if there's any. Yeah, I agree with you there, because I don't know if there's any demographic that'd be interested in the Aiden Ross.
But so Aiden Ross has really fallen for it. He thinks that Andrew Tate really loves him. He shaved his head in solidarity with Andrew Tate when he got arrested. He's defends him through his teeth.
I never want to. I try not to mention people's looks, but this is style, so it's a little bit different. The shaved head look does not work well for Aiden Ross. He should probably not do that again.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Tate has to rock it because he got hair plugs that didn't take. Aiden Ross has hair. Like, we don't need this close shave.
Well,
from
he has hair for now, because he definitely has one of the more bizarre hairlines I've ever seen, which you only realize once he shaved his head.
Yeah, it really wasn't working out for him. But yeah, so like their relationship's really sick. There's a video of Aiden sniffing the chair after Andrew Tate gets up. I mean, it's fucked up, but so Andrew Tate put him on his list for people who could come visit in prison. I think the intent behind that was that Aiden Ross would stream around Romania or something and, defend Andrew Tate around the area and then promote that to all of his fans. But the prosecutors got him removed from that list because he's not close family while Aiden Ross was traveling to Romania.
Really?
He was on his way and he got removed from the list.
They should have argued that they were, a family in some way. They should,
some sick, perverted way.
maybe it was a conjugal visit.
That's what everyone was saying.
Oh, everyone already made that joke. I didn't even know. See, I've been completely out of it. I take that back. I will not steal anyone's jokes. I'm not a joke thief.
The worst type of crime.
Yes.
In this conversation.
Imprison me now, Ray.
Yeah. So, other Andrew Tate updates. It was recently uncovered that he had created a series of music videos. Have you listened to any of his songs?
I did see that. It was so bad.
It was terrible.
It was so because you know what? Like I don't think we could. Like, here's the thing. Like if you're gonna do something like that, you got to just go all in. You got to actually like do it. And you could tell in that video that he's like feeling, and this is hilarious coming from a guy like him who gets paid to preach self-confidence and suaveness to his to his followers. He looked so worried and self-conscious, and like that was not a guy who felt assured in himself. Like he was afraid to fully go for it.
Yeah.
Like even like the movements in the music video, like you gotta like go all out if you're gonna be in a fucking rap music video. But he was like afraid to do the little dances. He was like holding back because I guess he was embarrassed. He looked like a loser. This is a guy people pay for advice for what to do with women. He looked like a big old nerd.
It's the first music video is my favorite. I see some people in the chat saying it's a girl because that's a line in the song that's so embarrassing. But okay, one of the music videos I really like because you know how like artists like to change their outfits throughout the music video to like show off different styles. What I really liked about Andrew Tate's music video is that he shows off different haircuts. And one, he's full bald, and another, he has hair just from one scene to the next, which is so fucking awesome. But one of them, it's really transparent that they went to a club and filmed without, they didn't rent out the club. They're just there filming because he takes money out of his wallet and just throws it on some guy's back. You can see in the music video, the guy starts to turn around and give him a look like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And then it cuts away.
Oh my God, I gotta rewatch this.
They're good. I think that one is Mr. Plenty.
Oh, Mr. Plenty. Oh my God.
That one also has my favorite line, which is kicking down the door like the police in a raid.
Ooh.
Yeah, little foreshadowing.
I was about to say, right? Oh, I always love that in films. Oh man, 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever the star rating is for movies, I can't remember. So so right now we're just basically waiting for I guess the Romanian prosecutors to actually officially go at him, right?
Yeah, well, what we're really waiting for is for the Matrix to be revealed to the public, for us to all realize that they're just
talk about the fucking Matrix.
Yeah,
we got to. I mean, that's such a big part of all this, and then that's perfect because then we could segue into his fans, and then that'll bring us to the AI.
Yeah,
because I could guarantee that Venn diagram of Andrew Tate fans and weirdos making AI deepfake porn it's not a perfect circle because there's probably a good amount of Andrew Tate fans who aren't tech savvy enough to do it, but
yeah,
but there's a lot of overlap there, I'm sure.
Not all Andrew Tate fans can make AI deepfake porn, but all people who make deepfake AI porn are definitely Andrew Tate fans.
Yes, exactly. So him and his followers are blaming the Matrix, like what, like. This is that whole going back into like the right wings, like take the red pill bullshit, right? Like that's where he gets this from. Because I will say, I was when we were covering him, and in those subsequent months, I was looking into a lot of his stuff, and yes, rampant with misogyny. But when it came to like, at least from what I saw, like overt right-wing politics, like actual political content. He doesn't delve into that, which is why I just thought the misogyny was very telling that for the right wing, the misogyny from him was enough to make them his hero, because he doesn't really delve into the politics, at least from what I saw. Like maybe he has, but that's not like his thing.
Yeah, he some outlets were reporting on him early on as like a, Trump supporter, which I'm sure he is, but that's really not what he's known for. He's gotten more into the politics of things lately as he sort of laid the groundwork to create suspicion in his fan base about, the allegations against him, particularly as it pertains to the Matrix. But one of the ways he's been doing that is like COVID denial. He's really big into COVID denial. Saw a video, the Vice documentary, where he picks up a sword and is like, it's different from the time he said he was going to attack women with it, but he picks it up. He's like, I have it just in case, one of my women sees something on TV about the virus and masking, so I can just say, you're safe. He waves the sword around like he's going to cut the virus out of the air, which is awesome. I mean, Republicans are ready to shoot it out of the air. So
I was enamored by the Andrew Tate accent that just naturally came out of you as you did that. That was amazing. I loved it.
I'm actually deepfake Andrew Tate. But yeah, so he's not been like super, I mean, he'll say things like, don't trust the government, the globalists are coming for me and things like that. Because, I mean, he knows that this investigation's ongoing. So he's trying to create this idea that he predicted that this was going to happen, that they were going to arrest him for speaking all these bold truths. But I wouldn't even say that he is like a right winger who says anything out of line with like the mainstream right wing thought. Like, misogyny is good. You need to man up. You need to be a man. Women shouldn't drive. COVID's not real. The government doesn't care about you. They don't want to help you. Things like that. So there's no, like, that's the whole part of this Matrix idea. It's like the globalists, the World Economic Forum is coming together to take down Andrew Tate, who is saying the same bullshit that every manosphere guy is saying, just to a bigger audience. So, but yeah, so he's.
I remember there were a number of panels at the World Economic Forum on Andrew Tate.
That was the main focus.
That was what they were all talking about there.
They were in Davos. They were discussing him at length.
Right.
I mean, and the fact that he tweeted at Greta Thunberg right before he got arrested, all of his fans were like, oh, she sent her people against him, which is like her whole, career of activism, has been her pleading governments to take action against climate change and them not doing it. So right. I don't know what kind of power they think she has to send people to arrest Andrew Tate, who definitely did that shit. Like, but yeah, I mean, The Matrix, it's so funny because it's a movie about, being trans and accepting who you are, written by two trans women.
Right.
And they have just latched on to like this idea that the people who are preaching essentially a return to what the world was like 200 years ago are somehow fighting the Matrix. It just makes so little sense, but you can't like reason with these people. Aiden Ross is a big proponent of the Matrix theory. And he was watching a video of Ethan Klein from H3 sort of jokingly saying like that he's Morpheus, and he was saying all these characters from the Matrix, and Aiden Ross was pausing every couple minutes to ask his chat who those characters from the Matrix were, because he said he'd never seen it. Just like, but this is the Matrix attacking him. A movie you haven't even seen. These people are so dumb.
What do you even say to people like that? Like, they're in this. I mean, it's pretty clear that this was. It couldn't be any clearer that this is just like his way of trying to. I mean, you explained it perfectly, but to me, it's like so clear what his intent here, and like people fall for it. Like he doesn't even believe this shit. Like there are these conspiracy theorists obviously who believe this shit. And like, the QAnon people, like they say this stuff and they believe it. I would say the vast majority of them. There's no way Andrew Tate believes this. Like the guy definitely even knows what he did. Like he's not even like fooling himself.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're eating it up. I mean, there was a protest of, exactly what you would expect them to look like, young men in Greece chanting through the streets, "Free Top G," and defending Andrew Tate. Not a massive protest, but big enough to concern me that they would actually like hit the fucking streets to defend a sex trafficker. But I think some of the issue with the fandom is there's people who see some of Andrew Tate's advice, which isn't all horrendous. Some of it is take care of yourself, hold yourself accountable, exercise, eat right. If you have a healthy body, that's one step to having a healthy mind.
Accountability advice sounds like something that one Andrew Tate should
he wouldn't hold himself accountable, so the Romanian government is gonna do it.
Right.
But so some people like hear that like surface level shit and they disregard the misogynistic shit, and then they'll defend him on the basis of the good things he's saying. And a lot of the people saying that the Matrix is coming to attack him are saying it's because he's empowering men, which is so goofy because, I mean, who has a lot of benefits in society that the other gender doesn't? It would be men. So like this idea that empowering men who have been in power for centuries would cause the entire global system to turn against you. It just makes so little sense. But these are people who, they can't go on dates, and they think that's the epitome of oppression in the world, is that women are not interested in them because they can't stop talking about Andrew Tate. So they really do view themselves as victims, so they can then, rationalize that Andrew Tate is speaking to these poor victimized men and empowering them, and then thus the world would turn against him and attack him and unjustly imprison him. I mean, despite the fact that he's admitted to doing these fucking crimes.
It's really weird to like. What do you think? Like this obviously speaks to anyone of any age who's susceptible to this sort of stuff. You see it with various different right-wing influencers, the various different men's rights activists, the MRAs, the MGTOWs, the men going their own way, the PUAs, the pickup artists, all these sort of misogynist groups. But what is it that you think? Because Andrew Tate has specifically seemed to attract young men, it doesn't even seem to be like close the way that he has appealed to young men in a way that these others in these other groups who have had various levels of success, none of them have been able to replicate this. I from what I've seen. You're Gen Z, right, Rayyvana?
Yeah, I am. I'm at the very upper end of Gen Z.
Okay, so maybe you're the perfect person to ask this, because I'm assuming you have male friends who are also Gen Z. What is it that specifically not let's not focus on like the men stuff, because we all generationally can see why he attracts men, but what do you think it is it specifically about that appeals to Gen Z, the young men in that cohort?
Yeah, so I think that especially Gen Z men have grown up, in an era where it's, more appropriate to talk about women's empowerment because we're trying to right all the wrongs and the ills of society that have been continuously happening, especially in this country since its foundation. And to them, it seems like I mentioned earlier, it seems like oppression. Like, we're highlighting, women's accomplishments. We're trying to encourage women to go into these fields that have been male dominated. And, not rightfully so, but they feel like they have been neglected. We've, just sort of in that vein. But I will say a lot of Andrew Tate's audience is younger than Gen Z. They are, 12-year-olds, the 15-year-olds. I don't think they would be considered Gen Z. And he appeals to them in a way that, you can just sort of say he is a child's idea of a rich guy, a cool guy. He has nice cars. He's surrounded by beautiful women. He has money that he flaunts. He smokes cigars. Did I say that already? He wears like robes. Like he is a child's idea.
He wears robes.
Yeah.
Listen, I get the appeal of robes. My son is my 7-year-old, huge into Star Wars right now. I'm assuming the Jedi appeal is about the robes.
That's exactly it. No, but so it's like all these like things that adults view as like that's stupid. Like that's not like what it means to be successful. I mean, not all adults. There's a lot of stupid people in the world. But I think adults have an easier time spotting that, like, that doesn't make you cool. Like, that's not what makes you, like, someone that people want to hang out with. That's not what makes you, that's not how you display wealth today versus, maybe he displays his wealth the same way they would in like the 50s or earlier. But for kids, that's like, it appeals to them because they're like, this is a guy who's loud. He speaks at my level, because Andrew Tate isn't particularly articulate. And one of the huge problems with Andrew Tate is he became really popular on TikTok because of what I believe to be a coordinated PR campaign to rehabilitate his image and promote him despite him being banned off all these platforms, which was just getting all these burner accounts to post his content. And of course, disproportionately, the users of TikTok are Gen Z and younger. So they were consuming a lot of his content. He got really popular in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. But I think it really is just this idea of traditional masculinity, super exaggerated idea of traditional masculinity that has really appealed to them, just sort of being, I don't know other way to say it, like a child's idea of a rich man.
No, I think that really does hit it on the head, hit the nail on the head. I mean, the weird thing though is that, like, they're not the ones buying his shit, like paying.
Oh, they
for
are.
His, they're joining Hustler University, stealing mom's credit card. Like, what are they?
Yes, absolutely. Really? If you look at most of the accounts on TikTok that have, the Hustlers University, their special code or whatever, like their affiliate code, it's a pyramid scheme. It's an MLM.
Right.
They are literally children. They're like 14 years old, 13 years old, 15 years old. A lot of them are American, European, all around the world. But yeah, these are literal children. I mean, they're not all of them, but disproportionately, even the people paying money for his shit are actually children.
I really, like, maybe I am completely out of touch, which I'm now thinking I really am. But was I just a good kid growing up? Like, I never would have even thought of doing stuff like that. Like, first of all, someone like Andrew Tate would have never appealed to me.
It's because you're normal.
But like, what is it though? Like, I don't get it. Like, listen, I have a 7-year-old son. And I can't imagine him, just from knowing what he's into now, like it going down the Andrew Tate route. Like, he's only 7 years away, even less if we're talking under 14. Where does that turn happen? Where does it go from, like, I don't know. I just, when I was like 12 years old, someone like Andrew Tate would have been a big fucking loser to me. I would have, because I was like into punk rock and shit. Like, I was hating on rich people before before it was cool. I mean,
It's happening in elementary schools. A lot of my friends who are elementary school teachers have said they've had to sit their students down because they've been repeating Andrew Tate lines and like saying really grotesque things to the girls in the classes, and like have to talk to them about Andrew Tate. Like, and these are 4th graders, 5th graders. I mean, he's getting them when they're young. Also, the women that he's trafficked, he's gotten them when they're young too. It's just his move, I guess.
Lanzetta in the YouTube chat, I think he really gets at what is the moment where they make that turn. Lanzetta says it's called puberty, Binder. I mean, yeah, that's gotta be. They hit it, and they must, all that stuff going on. I guess, I don't know. I never see, growing up, I was always I was the guy who had at different points more friends who were girls than guys at different points in my life. So I never looked at girls that way. They were always just the same as the boys. Even when I was, I guess it does happen to that certain cohort of young, preteens and early teens who just don't know how to interact with girls to begin with, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, because a lot of the solutions people are posing to the Andrew Tate problem, the Hustlers University problem, the manosphere problem, is that we need to talk more specifically to these boys. And I think that's exactly the opposite of what we need to do. I think we need to remove some of these weird gendered, just so many like gendered ideas in our society. Like from a young age on, we treat boys and girls very differently, and they're socialized to believe that there is some very distinct, a world of difference between them. And one of the things that I think contributes to that, and I talk about this all the time, is the way that we do sexual education in this country. We segregate sexes for sex education. And it's really unhelpful because it only creates this morbid curiosity with children of, what are the other kids learning? What are the girls learning? Or what are the boys learning? And then they act on that.
I don't remember doing that. So I wonder if that actually had a big effect too on how, I just because of how my school dealt with it, how I viewed, this as well. I mean, we didn't do that. I don't recall splitting up. We all learned the same stuff about both sexes.
Yeah, in my school, they did segregated sex education. And then immediately after, we had an epidemic of what was called credit carding, where the boys would run up to the girls at recess and slide their hand between the girls' legs.
What?
You'd have like an assembly about it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And how old were you? What year would this be again for you?
5th grade.
So what year would that be? Make me feel old, Ray. Make me feel like an old man.
2009.
Fucking shit.
2008.
Okay, I guess that would, I can't imagine in the, I guess, pre or very early internet era. I was in 5th grade in the what would be, I guess, the mid 90s. So so that's not something I don't think we would have come up with even. That's got to be something that someone saw online or some shit, it seems like.
Yeah, even like the internet was, not super widely accessible to everybody when I was at that age. But, there was definitely not good things happening on the internet.
Right.
Especially on YouTube.
2009, yeah. YouTube was around then for about 4 years. Facebook was already rolling out to people who were no longer in college. It's not like late in the internet era, but it's definitely not like early internet. It's like,
it was like you could get away with what you could get away with on your parents' computer before they got home type of internet. And it was when YouTube was just all blackface. Just every YouTuber making like silly videos of them doing blackface.
Yes, and Justin Trudeau.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to derail the conversation, but why would you do full blackface and Black Body should play Aladdin? It's
very weird. Very weird.
It just makes he just loves doing blackface. Just invite him to any type of party. And he's like, I'm going to be there in a minute. I'm almost done with my makeup. It's not a costume party. It's not a costume party.
So this is actually a perfect, now that we were talking about, what's going on with the dudes, the young men of today. I think this is a great spot to segue into the discourse. And we'll be talking a lot more about Andrew Tate in the near future, I'm sure. But this is a great place to segue into this discourse that happened online this week about AI deepfake porn. Now, I've actually, about 5 years ago, I was writing a number of articles about the concern over this, because this was right after the 2016 election, and there was a real worry as, the foreign influence campaigns and how different technology was coming into play in political campaigns online. There was a worry about going forward, deepfakes are going to be a real fucking problem. And I first started hearing about how deepfake porn was a worry because on Reddit, there were subreddits that got banned that were basically creating deepfake porn of various different actresses like, Natalie Portman, Mila Kunis, people like that. And those Reddit subreddits got banned for doing that because it's wrong to do. You're making we're being a weirdo and sexualizing someone who has not given you their consent. And now fast forward to 2023 and this Twitch streamer, who I'm unfamiliar with. Were you familiar with this person? Are they a big Twitch streamer?
They're medium. I mean, they're pretty big. They get like 6,000 average viewers. So that's pretty good on Twitch.
Maybe this is a quick aside. Literally 99% of the people who get famous and big online are huge fucking assholes. It's just incredible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like, that is, you know, a fast way to gain an audience online. It's just to be a dick and antagonize other people.
It's just, it's so frustrating, honestly. Like, to all the people who actually put time and effort into their content, to know that if they just threw all their beliefs aside and just became a raging misogynist, racist, asshole prick, they would get instant money and fame. So fucking annoying, yes. But anyway, back to the point. So this guy, apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, was doing a stream and did a screen share and was going through his like Chrome tabs or whatever. And lo and behold, he accidentally showed a tab that was AI deepfake porn of these other famous women streamers.
Yes. Some of whom he knows very well. And I won't say their names because they're wanting not to be super involved in the story. I mean, they're asking people not to talk about it, which I think, I mean, you know, I respect how they feel about it. They're involved in it. But I think it's a really good moment to talk about this because, you know, people really haven't been talking about how harmful AI deepfake porn is. I mean, if you Google their names, it comes up. I mean, and if you're not a celebrity, you're trying to get a job, because they do this to people who aren't celebrities. In the same way that they, you know, revenge porn is put out. You know, it stops people from getting jobs. If you are a streamer, it stops you from getting brand sponsorships, which is a majority of how, you know, they make their money. And, you know, some of these women are saying when people send it to them, it feels like they're getting raped. They're watching themselves have sex, but it never happened. And it's really disturbing. And they're making money off of it. So he exposed his browser tabs and people immediately noticed what it was. Apparently these ads have been all over Pornhub. So his audience, of course, was really quick to know exactly what it was. And then he did what I think might be, and there's so many bad apology videos out there. I think his was the worst apology video I have ever seen in my life. He's sobbing, saying that he was just morbidly curious. So he clicked on the link and then I guess his finger slipped and he entered his credit card information in there and the 3 numbers on the back. And then he brings his wife on to cry next to him. It's just so shameless. I mean, one of the women that was on that site is the person who made the wedding cake for his wedding. Like these are people he knew that he was watching.
Now, was this a website that suggested the women or already had the deep fake porn made of these women, or did he have to like custom order it?
So this website was specifically streamer deep fakes. So of women streamers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still very weird. I thought possibly he had to like submit who he wanted the deep fake porn to be of, which would have been also very weird. But listen, I don't know what the discourse is around just like AI images of porn. Like I think that's weird too, but maybe I mean I would need to know more about what that is, how they make those images. I guess an argument could be that these are just fake people that don't exist. I would like to know how what is the basis of those images though? Like what is the artificial intelligence using to make these people, like these people who don't exist? Still think it's very weird. Maybe there could be a discussion around that, and I would have a different opinion if someone showed me that there was no people who would be hurt involved in this. But actually creating deepfake porn that's supposed to be of a actual real life person is deeply fucking weird and disturbing. I don't like, Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't even like what like the I like if this guy was just interested in it in general. Like I said, I've seen with all this AI stuff coming out. I've seen that there's like AI porn sites that just like there was a tweet that was going around going viral that was like it's so over for women, and it was like
That was the
you saw
girls
that
with the
one?
most fucked up hands you've ever seen in your life.
Yes, there's one where the
100
girl
teeth.
has there's one where the girl has the hands coming out like horns. And like in every image they have gigantic boobs with bikinis on that are clearly like 10 sizes too small and like
Yeah.
bursting at the seams. It's like if you're morbidly curious, clearly that stuff exists where you don't have to actually see this done to someone you know, or it actually does exist.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people don't fully understand what these deep fakes are. So like these specific porn ones, it's an actual video. It's a real porn where they have edited the women's faces with AI onto the bodies of the porn stars who are making, a consensually created porn video. So this isn't just like pictures of what they think these people might look like naked. It is videos of them having sex. And sometimes it's videos of two of them having sex with each other or whatever it might be. So these aren't just like, grossly like photoshopped your face onto a model's body. Like they pick the porn stars who they think the body is most similar to, the, in this case, the streamers. It's a lot that goes into this process. And it's just so disgusting every step of the way. I've seen some people in the chat asking if it's legal. In most states, it is. It is illegal in California for sure. And I think it's either Virginia or Vermont is the other state where it's classified actually the same way that revenge porn is classified. So they can prosecute it in the same way that they would prosecute as if, you broke up with somebody and they posted naked pictures or videos of you on the internet. Because that is exactly what it is. It is, people are saying it's digital rape. I don't disagree with that, but it really is most akin to revenge porn. And they're profiting off of it too. But they are creating these videos of women who didn't consent to have them released, who didn't even participate in the actual acts. And I said it already, but the people who are the victims of this, they say it time and time again. It feels like they're getting raped when they watch these videos because it's their face. It's a body that's supposed to be similar to theirs, but it didn't happen to them. They didn't consent to have people view this. And it's also a lot more common than I think, we're talking about it now. It's easier to do it now, but these types of videos have been around for like over a decade. They've been popular for over a decade, and it's happening to, all types of content creators, all types of, non-celebrities, public figures. And it's used just the same way that they use revenge porn. It's supposed to, sully your public image. And,
Right.
Of course, to the benefit of disgusting eyes who want to sexualize them.
Right. And if listeners don't know how deep fakes are made, like they literally feed video of their target. Like, for example, in this case, it would be the Twitch streamer they want to make the deepfake porn of. They take as much video as they decide they want to feed, the deepfake software or program or whatever they use. And they feed the video to it. And the AI machine learning basically studies, quote unquote, the imagery frame by frame to get all the angles, understand how they would fit, the face in different, from this angle, from that angle. And then it takes the porn video and it basically, from what it learned about the Twitch streamer's face, perfectly embeds it into the porn video. So it looks seamless. Like people can look on YouTube and see there's celebrity videos where they take a celebrity and there's one, I think it's I think it's like, for example, what's his face? Jim Carrey, when he's doing his different like impressions, he transforms into the actual person he's doing the impression of. Like his face turns into like they deep fake it. So like if he's doing a Tom Cruise impression, Jim Carrey on the Tonight Show transforms into Tom Cruise when he's doing the impression. And some of these videos are so well done because they fed so much source video of Tom Cruise to the deepfake like machine learning program that it's able to like perfectly embed that person in to the point where like you would think Tom Cruise actually tagged Jim Carrey out and jumped in for him. Just to give people an idea of how realistic this stuff looks.
Yeah, if anyone's ever seen Chinese Elon Musk on TikTok, he got really big. He's got like billions of subscribers now. Or there was this I think Japanese content creator who was supposed to be an e-girl. It turns out it's like a 50-year-old man who's using deepfake technology to present as a woman. And he wasn't even found out because, you know, the deepfake messed up. He was found out because he did a video where you could see his reflection. And obviously his reflection was that of a 50-year-old man and not this, you know, 20-year-old girl. So like the technology is really advanced to the point where not all these deepfakes are presented as deepfakes. Sometimes it's just presented as this streamer or this celebrity's porn. And it's not them. So I think that's where another issue comes up. I've seen some people say some really stupid things about how to address this legally. They're like, oh, it's probably protected under copyright law because you can't copyright your face. This is probably the dumbest argument I heard come out of this because you don't need to copyright your face. It's not a copyrightable material. You already have the exclusive rights to your likeness. So that's covered under publicity law. So you have, you know, the exclusive rights to your likeness. No one else can profit off of it without your consent. It survives your death. So your family, you know, if you don't use these rights while you're alive, your family can do it for you after you die. It's a really famous case where people were selling T-shirts with MLK's face on it. And his family sued them and won because you have this exclusive right to profit off of your likeness. So because these companies are making these, you know, deep fakes for a profit, that I think is a good avenue for them to explore as far as, you know, finding, you know, getting some sort of recovery from this, you know, whole thing. And of course, you know, the trauma it's not going to be solved by some money you win in a lawsuit. And it's difficult to go after these people because a lot of them are not in America. And a lot of these companies that create this or the individuals that create these shield their identities pretty well. But there is an organization, can't remember the name of it, but it helps survivors like this get those videos taken down. And through that organization, they do a lot of research into who's making them so that they can go after them. And if you live in California, I think some of these streamers do, they have the option of going to the police because it is illegal in California. So even if the person making it doesn't live there, it's being consumed there. So that's enough to bring them into the state for prosecution. But, you know, there really is a massive lack of laws covering this. You know, so what people can do is you can, you know, reach out to your state elected officials and urge them to cover this under your state's revenge porn laws. Most states have revenge porn laws at this point. If yours doesn't, you should be asking for them, petitioning them to, you know, enact revenge porn laws and then cover these types of deepfakes under them. And, you know, in the same vein that California did it, in the same way that Virginia did it, it's literally just a line in their statutes. It says also deepfake porn, you know, so they're prosecuted the exact same. It's not like a huge change to, you know, the state's, you know, the language of the law. So, and it's not like an unpopular idea. There's no big deepfake lobby, you know, when it comes to porn, you know, lobbying states not to pass these types of laws. So I think, especially with people thinking about this now, with the story being as big as it is, it's a really good opportunity to, you know, try to get laws in place so that to prevent these things from happening, but also so that the victims of them can get justice, because it's really limited right now, the ways that they can recover from, you know, being damaged in this way.
Right. And, you know, for people who, you know, I should also say, because I saw some chatter in YouTube, in the YouTube chat, you know, like all technology, there are obviously good faith and bad faith uses. I'm sure deepfake technology can be used for, for legitimate filmmaking purposes and stuff like that. We're not talking about that, though. We're talking specifically about it being used in this non-consensual revenge porn type usage, which even the way the laws have been made about this stuff, there's seemingly, from what I've seen, no way it can affect like just, oh, I'm making a movie and I'm working with an actor to do this deepfake stuff because it's part of the storyline. You have no worries about that. This is always as part of law that already deals with like revenge porn and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, if you were doing a deepfake of someone and you made them say something truly awful, like if you made them deny the Holocaust, they could probably go after them for defamation, but that's a whole other thing. And you wouldn't need to include it in the statute that you can go off after deepfakes. It's already implied by, what defamation law is, which is largely governed by the common law anyway. So you wouldn't need to change any statutes for that. But yeah, like the California law is specific. It's deepfake porn because it's, it's covering like sexual material. So it wouldn't, even if it didn't say deepfake porn, it's inherently sexual material using someone's likeness without their consent. So it wouldn't branch out to anything like that. I don't think that's what anyone's asking for.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I saw that video, the apology video, and I just could not believe, like,
it's so egregious.
Why would you put that out there like that? Like, it does seem like an additional way to like farm for content or make yourself the victim. Like, just put out, if you were truly sorry, you just put out the like a fucking note, a post, a short tweet or whatever. I like, it seemed even more egregious to go the extra step he did, which did not at all make it seem like he was truly sorry. It was just bizarre.
Yeah, and a lot of people, especially the women who were impacted by this, are really angry that in his apology, I don't think the clip that was circulating showed this, he names the website he used. And he shows the receipt, or he's going to show the receipt of his purchase to show the date that it happened. And again, he's promoting this website, which has been shut down, at least temporarily, because they've been getting a lot of heat. But I mean, it's not for legal reasons that it's been shut down, and there's nothing to stop it from coming back up. But he has, in his apology, I mean, one, shamelessly defended himself through the entire thing, but also inadvertently, potentially, maybe not, I'd like to think that it was accidentally, promoted this website and promoted these deepfakes of content creators, including content creators. And I just can't get over this, that he knows personally. He was watching deepfake porn of people who are in his lives. The woman who made his fucking wedding cake while his wife is sitting next to him crying. Like, the whole thing was rancid. Just truly disgusting.
I'm truly sorry for going to aiporn.pornspot.com because it's just so bizarre that he would say it. He drops the name of the... What is the purpose of the receipt?
To show that it wasn't like some long ongoing thing, that it was recent that he made this purchase, but like the purchase was from several days before he exposed his tabs. Apparently he bought it on January 26th, that he showed the tabs on the 30th. So he's been using this website for 4 days, which I think only stands to undercut what he's trying to fucking say. But it's really gross the way that he frames it, because he's saying, oh, I was morbidly curious. I was on Pornhub. It was 2 a.m. One of these links popped up. I was just so curious that I clicked on it and then entered my credit card information and then apparently used it over the course of the next 4 fucking days. Like you were saying, if you're morbidly curious about AI, there's lots of lots of ethical ways that you can consume AI content. Like, I mean, even if you want to just enter in terms to like produce a picture of someone that isn't, based off of a real human being, it doesn't have the face of your fucking friends on it, like that's different. I think you're a weirdo if you do it, but like you can, it's not as unethical and immoral as consuming something that was made against their will.
I think we're gonna see. I think like the fact too that there was a website specifically for it. Like I was under the understanding that it was like a website where you just like order custom deepfakes. Like you give the which for him probably would have actually been even weirder. But the fact that there was a website already existing specifically targeting those specific women is extremely fucked up. Like there, can you imagine all the other niche fucking AI porn websites for all the other fucking random niche streamers that are all over the internet in all different industries, like the food bloggers, the travel vloggers, like
they have them for politics streamers if they exist. Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of, what was it, Red Scare for Cishet Men, the subreddit that would just post normal pictures of like political commentators and then be weirdly, disgustingly sexual. I found my picture on there one day, was absolutely mortified about the things they were saying. It was such a normal picture of me. Like I'm not someone who, posts pictures that are even suggestive of anything. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that, but it was just a picture of me fully clothed and they were saying such nasty things. But they do have deep fakes for political, not just politicians, but political commentators.
See, that's baffling to me because like it's clear that it's not even just like a money play, because there's no money in political streaming. Yeah. So there's got to be even less money in people who are fans of political streamers who on top of that want to pay for AI deepfake porn of those political streamers. Like, I don't see the, like, I'm baffled on that one, honestly.
And some of it isn't, you don't have to pay for it. They'll just upload it on Pornhub. They'll just post it on, like, typical porn sites for people to view for free. Because, I mean, the intent behind it in those cases, it's not to make money, but it really just is to damage the reputation of that person, to make them hypersexualized, particularly people who don't sexualize themselves. These streamers aren't people, and I've seen some stupid comments from, I'm sure, Andrew Tate fans about like, oh, well, if these girls didn't want these deepfakes, they should stop sexualizing themselves. When the streamers in question are people who take like such precaution to ensure that they are not, presenting in a way that even could be interpreted as sexualized on their streams. And they shouldn't have to do that. And of course, it's not their fault. But to even levy those attacks against these specific women who don't make anything near sexual content. I mean, they just hate women. They really just fucking hate women.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Like, I in the overarching theme of this episode, whether it's Andrew Tate's fans or the people here, like, it does seem to be this deep hatred of women. And I thought, like, obviously, that's always going to exist. But I did think that there was a point where I thought there was some real progress being made. But it doesn't seem like that's the case anymore. Like, it seems like really in the past couple of years, we've just been going absolutely backwards. Like, it's bizarre.
It's interesting because, like, there's so many points where we have thought that we've moved past this. I mean, I think one of the big examples, and people were saying sexual harassment in the workplace is going to end. Sexual harassment of women was going to end after the Anita Hill hearings. People really thought that was going to be the catalyst for massive change. Fast forward 20 years, the Me Too movement happens, and we realize that we haven't actually made this much progress. We've made progress, important progress, but it's nowhere near where we need to be. We're nowhere close to eliminating it. And for a lot of people, it's profitable to be misogynistic because, especially in America, countries all over the world, but, our country's foundation is so deeply misogynistic. Our history is misogynistic. Our culture is misogynistic. And that's emphasized, not just through, things that your parents teach you, but just things that you observe, you see in media, the different ways that boys and girls are treated growing up. So I think for a lot of people, it resonates with them and they don't see a problem with it. But I don't know how to fix that. I mean, it'll take a lot of work. It's not anything that we can just have one moment where we're like, okay, we solved it. We're done. It's canceled. No more misogyny. But I think that a lot of men have this massive misconception about the actual progress that's been made. And I mean, we still have this. I mean, women are disproportionately, massively overrepresented in sexual harassment cases in the workplace. 80% of women still in 2023, or not, yeah, 80% of women experience some form of sexual harassment in their life or sexual assault in their life. There's so much more work to be done. And I think a lot of people who don't experience that have an easy time ignoring it or downplaying it. Some people do it intentionally, but I think some people are just ignorant of it. And then when people want to speak up about their experiences, they're called whiners, you know, they're attacked. I mean, the women who accused Andrew Tate of rape, the attacks against them have just been violently disgusting. The women, you know, just to harken back to Andrew Tate for a second, he's on audio recording saying, "I loved raping you. I liked it when you didn't want it." And these guys are like, "Oh, it was a deep fake from 2013. This is evidence that was presented to the police and turned over to Vice News by the fucking police, but it was a deep fake." Like, it's just this, you know, there's still, for some reason, a lot of men just have this desire not to believe women. And we've got to undo, there's a lot of work to undo that. It's disappointing as a woman who experiences misogyny. It's disappointing, especially when it comes from people who I think are well-meaning on the left. Even people, you know, who support women's rights can downplay the severity and the pervasiveness of harassment that women experience.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Rayyvana, thank you so much for joining me tonight to discuss what's been going on with Andrew Tate, who I guess you are now the official doomed Andrew Tate correspondent.
I'll put it on my resume.
And yeah, TYT contributor, Andrew Tate correspondent, doomed. Yeah. And thank you for discussing this online talk that's been going on about the AI deepfake porn. Really, again, I think the things to look at here is what you just left us with. What's the ever pervasive misogyny in our culture, and then also in a lot of aspects, what's been going on with men in general, but also young men. And I don't mean to harp on young people as if they're the biggest cause or issue in it. Not at all. The reason I sort of harp on them is because I think that's where the change will happen. Young people just need to break the streak of this happening. And then I think a lot of things will change. Again, I don't think we'll ever be like, I'm not living in a fantasy world where there'll be no more misogyny, men and women in harmony. But I think in society, we would look down upon this in unison, more so than where we are now, where there are large swaths of people in different communities that not only encourage this, but actively think this is how it should be, or you should be.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks for letting me get on my soapbox for a minute there at the end. Also, I wanted to say, because I mentioned this to you, I messaged you about this. I cited to you into your writing in one of my final papers for my class, and on crypto, and I got an A. So thanks for that.
Well, on what, if you don't mind me asking?
It's crypto. It was blockchain and the law, but my paper was about celebrity influencer led crypto scams. Oh, right, right. So I was citing to those the articles you've written about that, and all of those fucking rip-off get rich quick schemes that the influencers were promoting to their audience. The rug pull scams. Yeah.
I'm so happy you got an A+ on that. Did it is it going to be added to some big law thing, or is it just
No, my professors were crypto bros, so I don't
think
they would be
submitting.
Hold
on. Whoa. This may be, you might have to come back on to come on Scam Economy.
I'd love to. I did actually 2 projects about crypto because I wrote that paper. So then I was doing a legislative advocacy course, and I did my project on why we need to, first of all, label crypto as securities, and then give the SEC the right to go after these. We need to make these rug pull scams illegal, and then give the SEC the authority to go after the people who promote them and create them.
So I'm actually enamored by the fact that your professors were crypto bros.
Oh, they were the worst. They were in shambles because last semester, for anyone watching doesn't know, I'm in my last semester of law school. But we had the massive crypto meltdown, and they were just coping and seething through it.
Really, like live in class? That like
yes, it was so hard to watch because they're talking about how these crypto is a safe investment. They work in
whoa whoa. They said this to their students that crypto is a safe investment.
Not just to their students, but they work for firms that do consulting with corporations and rich people essentially, and help them invest in crypto and do crypto transactions. So not just to their students, they were saying this, apparently to their clients as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, we definitely got to talk. This is for another episode though.
Yeah.
Rayyvana, where can people find you online?
Yeah, everyone can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Rayyvana, Rayyvana. You can follow me on Twitter @RayyvanaTTV, and you can see my videos every day, every weekday for Rebel HQ on YouTube and Facebook. Also, I'm going to be on the TYT main show hosting the power panel. This Friday, so you can all see me there as well.
Oh, you're just going to be on no big deal. It's on the TYT main show. Oh, okay. Everyone definitely go check that out. And Rayyvana, I can't wait to have you back on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. And when Andrew Tate's detention gets extended for 30 days, we'll talk about it.
Oh, when we have to do a marathon stream when they announce the charges and stuff.
Absolutely. Live look at the charges.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. Going through each one from someone experienced in the law. I love it. That'd be great to do. We should definitely do that.
We'll do it for sure.
All right. Take care. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, the topics were obviously very serious, but it was very nice talking to someone who was able to discuss it at the level of sincerity that it requires, but also do it in a way where the viewers were able to digest it in a fun and easy to understand way. I wanted to be careful there in terms of, I think there's obviously, and that's what I strive to do when I have guests on and discuss things myself. You have to talk about this stuff seriously, but also do it in a way that's makes it enjoyable to consume this very serious topic so you best understand it. All right, folks, let's go to the second half of the show. But before I do that, patreon.com/Matt Binder to support this show. Let me thank the people who've become patrons over the past couple of days. Been sort of slow on that, on the Patreon front. So if you can become a patron at patreon.com/Matt Binder, it'd be greatly appreciated because sort of people still obviously are having to say goodbye due to various different reasons, and we're not replenishing the people as we lose them. So I will have to figure out how to do that. I'll need to maybe I'll send out a survey to people and see what they want, what they're looking for, what would they like. So the people who have become patrons, Cy A, Joseph D, and Lucy G, thank you so much for your support. Really can't do it without you. So greatly appreciated that you are a supporter at patreon.com/Matt Binder. I will get to the YouTube live, the YouTube super chats, and I will get to the Twitch tier subscriptions and all that in the second half of the show. As always, youtube.com/Matt Binder for the video version of the show, and subscribe there. You could also check out the video version of the show at twitch.tv/Matt Binder. Follow me there. And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and you get a free Twitch Prime subscription every month. That gives a payment to your favorite Twitch creator without you having to pay anything extra. So, do it if you can. Doomedcast.com for the podcast version of this show. Follow me on Twitter at Matt Binder. And let's go to the second half of the show. I'm going to take a quick break, refill my drink, literally less than a minute. Like, give me like 20 seconds here. And I'll be back to discuss, take your calls and discuss whatever you'd like with you all. Just give me less than 1 minute. And for everyone else who's not on the live stream or not a Patreon subscriber, that means basically just the people who catch this as a podcast on the free version of the show. I will see you all next time on Doomed. Today on Doomed.
Ecological collapse, corporate fascism, corporate journalism, police brutality, voter suppression, austerity economics, educate the masses, rampant homophobia,
We got our first caller. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Matt?
Hey,
You from Jamaica?
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend? What are we going to be talking about today?
I don't think you are exactly what you claim you are. I would say you're a conservative. What makes you a liberal? I'm pro-Green New Deal. Are you? Yes, really? Absolutely. I have watched the show. I've seen you completely come out and get really mad at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for some of the things in the Green New Deal.
You mean like free college for black people?
All right, we are back. As always, you can call into this show at, well, first you have to open up Skype and search Doomed Live. Just search Doomed Live and you can call into the show. I take any and all calls. There's no pre-screening, so if you want to call in and shit all over me, or you're a right-winger who wants to debate me on whatever, I'm happy to take that call. First of all, I wish there was a screener, because I would take your calls first and foremost, because I love doing that stuff. But there is no, if you're worried that he's going to screen my call and not talk to me because it would be too tough on him, you don't have to worry about that either, because I don't have the ability to do that. I just take the calls exactly as they come in. And I'll read the live chats shortly, so definitely drop those super chats in if you want me to read it. Let me take the first call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. Yes, it's great to be here. Hello, Matt Binder. Hello.
Hello, it's Binder, but you can call me Binder if you want. But what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. Yes, it's your favorite president, Donald J. Trump.
Oh, it's Donald Trump.
I know you've been waiting for my call.
Donald, hold on. First of all, do you have a cold? You sound a little bit different.
I'm sorry. I do have a little bit of the cool and the Wuhan flu, the Kung flu, the Kung flu.
Okay. So what would you like?
No, so I may sound a little bit different, but these stupid phones these days, they're made by China. They're made by China, and Biden just brings them in and sells them to everybody. It's very, very terrible. It's very terrible. And
what would you like to talk about specifically, Mr. President?
Look, Binder, there's really let me say something. let me say something first. This whole thing with Stormy Daniel or whatever her name is, I don't know who she is. She's obviously trying to make some money off me, and I don't like it. She'll write a book or something, and she'll make lots of money and become very famous, and it'll be all because of me. All because of me. And I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing at all wrong.
What did you do?
I did nothing wrong. Look.
But what
look,
did you do?
I did the greatest tax cuts that we've ever had in America. I brought America back from the brink. I mean, when I came in and I said, look, where are all the bullets? Where's the military? And it was gone. It was gone. So very bravely, I rebuilt it. I gave more money to the military than anyone else ever did. Ever, ever, ever.
All right.
Hey, I just had an idea. If you took small pieces of your program and put them on some sort of whatever, the small pieces of your program could be called binder clips.
Ah,
See?
yeah,
You get-
yeah,
you-
sure.
I mean, you could have that one for free because of me, because of my big heart, my generosity. And I also would like to talk about someone that we lost who's very, very special to
Ah.
me.
Sure,
Di-
go ahead.
Diamond and Silk.
We lost both. We lost both of them.
That's her last name.
Oh, wait, what's her last name? Ensilk? Ensilk?
And very common name. Very common name. Diamond and Silk. So, I mean, she was a very bright star. She had a lot of great ideas, great opinions, and most importantly, Binder.
You know, Mr. President, you can feel free to call me whatever you'd like.
Can I call you Matt? Is that all right?
Sure.
How about Matt? All right.
My friends call me Matt, and I would say you and I are good friends.
We're friends, we're friends, right? We're friends. You like me, I like you, right? We're friends.
Yeah.
And the most important thing about Diamond was, well, there's two things, actually. She liked me, and the other very important thing, she was a black. And I mean, I think I've done more probably for African Americans and lowest unemployment during my administration.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, but when I triumphantly return in 2024 to the White House, it'll be great. It'll be terrific. And I see one of your people in the chat is saying I should call you Maurice. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know. And there's a farmer or somebody over there. Look, the farmers love me. The farmers love me. And they're asking me how I won the golf tournament when I wasn't even there. It's very simple, Mr. Farmer Man. Very simple. Very easy. I thought about it. See? Just like I could think about declassifying documents, I can think about winning a golf tournament, and I win.
There you go.
Especially when it's at my course. So, let me tell you something, Binder. I have to go. There's some very important documents I have to sign, and I don't know, very horrible people are calling me. They're talking to me, and they're saying I shouldn't run. And Ron DeSatan, I mean, he's really bad. He's not very loyal. Look,
Did you know that his first of all, I really enjoy the Ron DeSatan. That's very clever, Mr. President. I look forward to you using that on the campaign trail.
I tried sanctimonious, and that's too many syllables.
It was very silly of you to do that one. I think Ron DeSatan is where it's at.
That's right. And
did you know that his middle name, I feel like you could use this. His middle name is Dion.
Like Celine Dion?
Like Celine Dion, baby. That's right.
Like Dion with Ron Dion, Warwick DeSant. There you go. It's going to work great. It's going to work great. I'm going to have some more rallies and some
workshop that a bit.
In some gymnasium. Can I have that for free, Binder?
You could have that for free. That's right. All yours.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. You're very kind.
As long as you promise that you defeat Ron DeSantis, it's
Satan.
yours for free. If you lose to him though, I'm
Yeah.
gonna send you a check. I'm gonna send you an invoice. I mean, excuse me.
Well,
You'll be sending me the check.
Yes, yeah. Send me the invoice, and I'll put it in the proper basket. Trash can.
Yes, proper receptacle.
folder.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll go somewhere. It'll go somewhere, and we'll have that taken care of very quickly. So
Sure you
thanks
will.
very much, Binder. It's been great talking to you. Remember, Magger again, all over again.
Oh,
again.
I look forward to seeing you back on Facebook in the coming week or two. Have a great night.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about that, but that's
Another day.
People are clamoring for it, and they're gonna have it very soon. Very
They
soon.
will. That's
So,
right.
Thank you very much, Binder. It's been great talking to you, and we'll talk again soon, I'm sure.
Have a great night.
For Magger.
There we go. All right, let's go to the next call. Always love when the president calls in. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Maddie B, it's Mariah.
Hey, Mariah. Hold on, you're a little bit low. Are you on speaker, or are you away from your phone, or a little bit?
It might be just my little headphone mics.
Whatever you just did, it just fixed it perfectly. Hey, Mariah, long time no talk. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I feel terrible. I am the worst mod ever, and I never get to be on the stream anymore, and I never get to call in because I am busy. And yeah, but here I am. It's good to see you.
Hey, I get it. I get it. This is there's no pay here for you, so you're welcome to come and go as you please. So what's up? What was it to talk about?
I was just wondering, like, if you had attended any like demonstrations in New York lately. Specifically, I guess the Tyree Nichols, like if there was any actions in New York this weekend.
There definitely were. I unfortunately was not able to make them, but there definitely were. Including there was a one that got a lot of attention in Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
There was I believe someone got on top of a NYPD car and kicked in the windshield, and that caused the whole issue because it wasn't like they got on top of an empty NYPD vehicle. They literally did it as the cops were sitting there in the car. So the cops got out of the vehicle, and then basically a whole bunch of other cops appeared, and everyone who was basically standing around that car, regardless of their involvement in what just transpired, basically were subjugated to the NYPD getting out of control.
Damn, that is terrible. I did not see that. That sucks. Real
Well,
ballsy move.
It sucks that there was that the police decided to pretty much take it out on every protester, regardless of what they did. Seems like if one individual gets on top of the vehicle, and you are in the vehicle, you pretty much know who did it.
Yeah. Well, you'd think that NYPD would have like a one brain cell between like more than one cop, but obviously not. But yeah, I just wanted to share some thoughts, I guess, that I had about like, cause like I live in Portland, right? And we had, some really, really small demonstrations for Tyree Nichols. And it's just so crazy to me how different the response to this was. And even like the response to most of these like murders, like Tyree Nichols is not the only one recently, it's not even February.
Right.
But the response is just so different. Like the reaction, I guess, from people, is so different from 2020. And in the case of Tyree Nichols, like I remember when the news first broke, it was kind of like, oh damn, like this is really terrible. And then we saw the news that Memphis PD had immediately fired the officers who were involved, and then it was like, oh okay, that's good. And then they were charged with like murder, which is like, okay, that's also good. But then like the video was released, and then people protested but the protests were just so much smaller. And I just started thinking that like um the the police department like didn't like Memphis PD had to have known like when this happened and they like saw the video, they had to be like, oh shit, if we don't fire these officers, Memphis is going to become Minneapolis. Like this is going to
they definitely handled it the way they did in order to curb the understandable outrage from people when the video was released.
Yeah, it like
I mean,
it's
it's
just
really bad. The video is really bad. I mean, all of these videos obviously are horrible when you see them, but this one is, I think, especially egregious in terms of the fact that it just seemingly never ends. They just keep going after like this. I feel like a lot of these videos, it's just one horrible continuous event, whereas this, like, it seems like there's times where they could have stopped and he would have lived, and they do stop, and then they go back to doing it. Like, it's they're all bad. But I think the way this appears on video, they knew they had to do something in advance of it coming out.
yeah, absolutely. Which to me is just like a signal that all like the uprising that happened in 2020, like it might not have had like the desired effect that, a lot of us wanted, which is like, completely demilitarizing and like defunding the police and like completely like revolutionizing policing in this country. But it had the impact of like scaring the shit out of like the establishment or the state or the police, like however you want to characterize it. So to me, I'm just like, even though it might not be happening like organically the way that it did in 2020, we have to keep like protesting this shit like when it happens. So like if you're in like a small town or somewhere and you hear about something like this and there's no demonstration being called, like just call it, like bring people out. People are mad about it. People don't want this to be happening. And it's like powerful to like bring people out even when like the national response isn't as big, because that's like this. I don't think this response to this murder would have been as big as it was if it hadn't been for like some seriously organized groups like in lots of major cities like getting together.
And also we should point out that an added angle here is that the officers that were all immediately fired and charged are all black police officers.
That is another interesting point too. I think a lot of like, maybe like more boomery, like liberals or whatever, probably felt that way too, of like, oh, I don't really know how to feel about this because these officers were black. So maybe it's somehow different. But it's like,
oh no, I'm talking in the sense of why they were charged and fired so quickly.
Oh yeah. I think that definitely probably has something to do there. It's easier to like scapegoat them.
There was a sixth officer involved who sprayed pepper spray or whatever at out that day, and he was not fired until he was seen on the video. People realized it was him on the video, and they pointed out that this guy was the one white officer involved. Oh, and they were pointing out how interesting that was, that he was not fired nor charged. I believe he's since been fired after the outrage, but I don't believe he's been charged yet.
Damn. Well, that'll be interesting to follow. And yeah, that's like, it's so fucked up. Like this country can't even like be less racist against murderers. It'll like they'll only charge cop murderers if they're black. Like that's, and it's like black on black crime, like, right? Like I heard a story, like I really have no idea if it's true, that like somehow Tyree Nichols was like connected personally to one of these cops, and that like this attack on him was like personal.
Oh, I have no idea. I have no clue.
I like that. It seems like something that they would make, like that would be made up, but even if there's any truth to that, like it's still just fucked up that they use their like capacity as police officers basically to like pull them over. Like that's literally just the definition of like police brutality. Anyway, yeah.
No, thanks for
Just
yeah. I I'm glad you called to bring that up because I wanted to talk about it on the show because I believe this is the first show since everything that happened, the protests and the charges and the firing those officers. So it was definitely a topic I wanted to touch on. So thank you for calling in and discussing.
yeah, cool. Thank you. Nice to talk to you, and yeah, peace, everybody.
How's everything going on the West Coast, by the way?
Oh, it's freaking cold. It's like 20 degrees here right now, which is kind of unusual actually. And yeah, it's just cold and sad and everything's expensive and just life under capitalism. I got married last week though.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you. Got to get that health insurance, baby.
I'm assuming this is jumping into the stream for the first time in many months. Is it part of the honeymoon?
Well, we got married in a courthouse on a Wednesday, so there's no honeymoon happening at this point. But but yes, and even if we were on our honeymoon, we would definitely be tuned into Doomed.
Oh hell yeah! That's how it's done. The who wouldn't want to
couples who doomed together.
Who wouldn't want to listen to the dulcet tones of Matt Binder as they're on their honeymoon?
I will say though, the interstitial music for when you took the break is super cool.
Oh well,
I hadn't heard it before.
Oh yeah, Renee cooked it up for me a couple months ago, so it's definitely possible that he sent it to me sometime after you last tuned into the live stream.
Oh my gosh! Well, Renee, shout out! I love it.
It's definitely, he sent it originally as like new intro music, but as I listened to it more and more, I was like, no way, this is like perfect, the perfect transitional music to go from the first half to the second half of the show.
Yeah, it's awesome because it's got all the call-ins and stuff. It's great.
It's also got a part from me talking with Tim Pool on his show.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it's the perfect interstitial music. So yes, I'm glad you shouted that out. Thanks again, Renee, and pleasure talking to you again, Mariah. Don't be such a stranger if you ever have the time to call in again.
I will definitely try. I'll be back. Have a good one.
Right. Take care. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. I see there's a few people trying to call in right now. I will take, and they all hung up the second I dropped that call, or I guess Skype maybe immediately disconnected them. By chance, as that happened. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Have a good one. Take care. Congrats again.
You are on the air. You got to turn down your live stream because it's a little bit behind. All right, perfect. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Mike from West Hollywood. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, Mike from West Hollywood. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Okay, fighting a little bit of this RSV, I think, but it's getting past it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're on the road to recovery.
Thank you. I wanted to commend you on what a fantastic segment you did with Rayyvana on the AI digital stuff, and how I know friends who are content creators, women mostly, and they're musicians, and they do a lot of online content creation. And I'm thinking this is really important for them to know. And I'm wondering, can you clip that segment? Because it was excellent, and it was really informative, and it really shed a light on some stuff that I don't think people are quite aware of.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for the kind words. And then second of all, yes, I will definitely do that, especially if after that, you brought up how it could be helpful to different content creators. And also in a way that I tried to, I thought I touched upon, but now that I think about it, like I definitely did touch on it, but I didn't expound exactly what I was getting at. The way deepfakes work with people being able to basically just feed video of someone for the for your computer to basically study and learn the footage so they can best actually take that image and put it on a different individual or put that individual somewhere else. Streamers are especially susceptible to it because they are putting out hours and hours of video content of them basically looking at a camera, really giving any sort of machine learning program the perfect sort of media for it to learn from. Like, I'm sure those videos look even better than some actors and actresses in like Hollywood movies, because again, streamers are literally like looking directly at the camera, turning this way, turning that way. Tons of hours of them probably saying every syllable, every word, every every tone of their voice, every emotion. It really is like a perfect fodder for deepfake technology to take from and be able to use to create extremely realistic looking versions of those people.
Well, I would have to imagine that artists doing music and dance videos and live performances on streaming live stuff, that this would be fodder for them to use as well. Yes. And these are basically attractive people. I mean, they're the way the market is right now for musicians is, if you're not putting content online, it's hard for them to tour. It's hard for them to do live performances. A lot of them are busking for a while, and now that's getting tougher to do. So the way they're falling back is more and more online digital content to try and keep their art going. And I'm just going, holy cow, these guys have got to be really careful about this stuff, I'm afraid, going forward.
Right. Yes. No, there's definitely going to be a lot more of this, unfortunately. That being said, I've seen very interesting uses of AI. I mean, one interesting thing, and obviously this is going to be a problem for musicians, but not in that same sense as the AI deepfake porn, but this is interesting in a creative way, I think, at least. I've seen people be able to replace artists in other artists' songs. Like, if you want to hear how a Lady Gaga song would sound like while being sung by, I don't know, Miley Cyrus, it's already being done. Yeah. They basically feed stems of Miley Cyrus's vocals, and then it learns from how she sings certain words and pronounces certain things, and it replaces. I mean, it's not perfect, but we're going to see a lot more crazy uses, and some of them will be interesting. Some of them will, I'm sure, cause problems with artists in a matter of copyright and things like that. And then there will be the real problematic stuff, like we were talking about earlier with the deepfake porn. It's going to be interesting times. It's going to be bad times.
Well, and I was glad to hear that California does have the categorizing it like revenge porn. That was also very informative. I was glad to learn that from you guys. I mean, it's I had no idea how terrific she was. I've seen on TYT a time or two, but I was really impressed. I was like, wow.
Ooh, I'm gonna take that as Matt Binder knows how to showcase the talent out there better than the largest political show.
Kudos.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, or that was it?
Probably 100 things, but I just wanted to make sure that if you could get on that on segment and I could share that with people who could probably really benefit from seeing it, I'd really be appreciative of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Give me like a day or two, and you'll see it pop up on the YouTube channel as a separate segment.
Fantastic.
All right. Have a great night. Thanks again for the call.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Ooh, a bunch more callers waiting to call in. While they call back in, I should probably catch up on some of these super chats. Renee with a super chat. Streamers need to take the Camp Voight test. Oh, let's take a call here. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey Matt, it's Josh from California. How you doing today?
Hey, Josh, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am great. Did you catch the Rumble over the weekend?
I did.
What did you think?
I always enjoy the Rumble. It's such a fun match, no matter what. It's a lot of fun. I thought in terms of each match, so I had a great time watching. And also, it was the first event that my son stayed up for the whole thing. So it was a great time watching it with him for the first time, like the whole event alive as it was happening. We were a little bit behind, but live in a sense of watching it while it was still happening.
Yeah.
The men's Rumble match, it was better than last year's, because last year's I thought was really bad.
Yeah, that's not saying much.
But it was disappointing overall. I thought it had its moments. I thought, in terms of the winner, Cody Rhodes, he seems like a really likable guy. Seems, he's put the work in. I'm like, no doubt about it. He's talented. I am not sold. I don't know if I'll ever be sold on Cody Rhodes as a star, a main eventer, a world champion, the face of a company.
He's very Southern wrestling.
It's not even just that. First of all, in the sense of WWE has not sold him at all. They just brought him back, decided, what if we give him lots of pyro, make it seem like a big deal he's here, and that's enough. I'm just not sold. I'm sorry. And I don't even know if it has to do with anything with him, if what he can do. I mean, a little bit with him, because I'm just not sold on Cody, period. As again, I think he's very talented. He's put on great matches. I don't know. Maybe it's just his style doesn't connect with me. I think it's too soon. Also, I don't think he's had the WWE run to get him here. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, he got hurt. I mean, he keeps getting hurt, so that's part of the problem. Because I think like the whole lead up was supposed to be. This would have been like the end of like a 6-month or 9-month run where he was building up to be the challenger. You're right. There's not much of a story other than look. He just came back from injury. There's not much of a story for him to challenge Reigns.
I mean, it feels like it was part of his contract to go back to WWE. Honestly, like that's what this feels like to me. It feels like we have to pull the trigger now because it's part of the deal.
Yeah. Well, they also just don't have any other faces that are built as credible threats.
Sami Zayn.
He's been such a goon for so long that it would be the way that people love him, but he's been sold as such like a lick spittle and like reek basically.
I still think
that no one
the crowd was clearly calling for it. I mean, I think they might have a Daniel Bryan case on their hands, honestly.
People were going nuts for Cody on Raw.
I missed Raw. So maybe that I heard he cut a good promo, but I'm just not. I like the chase. The
That's
chase
fair.
for the title shot, the chase for the title, the losing, the not getting there, the falling back in line, getting back to that point, and like that is always a great storyline. That Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 storyline, they didn't even mean for it to happen. They wanted anything but that to happen, and they were forced to do it. And it was one of the best storylines ever. I feel like that could happen with Sami Zayn.
I don't know. I disagree. I never liked Daniel Bryan. I was all in on Batista.
What?
Give me big meaty men slapping each other on the chest and just like colliding against each other like the 80s. That's what I love.
No.
This
I
modern
disagree.
style of wrestling does not do it for me at all. Like one flip kick and someone should be dead on the ground. I'm sorry. Like I've been in actual physical combat before, and like some of this shit is so ridiculous that it's just like Okay, we would be seeing your brain matter all over the place at this point. It's gone too far. Like I don't like the whole I don't mind, obviously it's a show and it's an athletic competition and everything else. And I don't want to ever see anybody get hurt. But that's part of the problem that I think that I have is that they do so much that they all get up from that you just have to keep escalating. And I'd rather just see them, like a giant boot put somebody down and they not get up. Other than like in a WrestleMania match, you see someone kick out of a finisher once in a while. But the DDT used to be like the deadliest finisher in all of wrestling, and now it's like a transition move, and it's like you just got your head planted against the ground by two people's body weight. You should be unconscious. I'm sorry.
All right, man. Oh, back to my opinion about Royal Rumble. I thought the Bray Wyatt stuff was horrible. It was so bad.
Well, and not just that, but like the story of the match is stupid. Like it's so easy to sell like why you're having a Mountain Dew match. Just say they put up $100,000 for the winner and they sponsored this match, and that gives LA Knight a reason to be like, yeah, I'm gonna fight this creepy ass dude. Like, absolutely, I'll fight him for $100,000.
Also, I cannot take a scary like a character that's supposed to be a horror character seriously when a match that is clearly fashioned around them is called the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
Of course. Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm sorry, you cannot have a branded sponsor for a horror wrestler's match. Like, can you imagine if the Undertaker's specialty was fighting the Ronald McDonald Hell in a Cell match?
And Grimace runs out with the chair.
Doesn't work. I'm sorry. I can't watch the John Deere buried alive Undertaker.
That I would watch. Oh, sorry, you used a caterpillar to drop the dirt on him. That's not sponsored. Restart the match.
JP Morgan Inferno match. I just can't do it. I can't.
Well, yeah, I could watch a bunch of matches of like IRS if JP Morgan sponsored that, but that's a whole like.
I think Bray Wyatt's a big disappointment. I think it's a lot of build up, it's a lot of hype. He never delivers. This is my opinion. I think listen, the original Wyatt family was fantastic. That was him hitting his stride. He was great at that character. He was also a good wrestler.
Also,
What's that?
I said also Americans are afraid of swamp hillbillies, so that's actually a good horror character.
I mean, it's a great horror character. He was also
Deliverance.
He was also helped out by the talent that was Luke Harper.
Sure. Yeah,
I mean, fantastic wrestler, fantastic wrestler.
Strowman and whatever. Like three.
Strowman's all right.
He's not a good
Eric
wrestler.
Rowan's all right too.
Three of them are huge.
Yes,
and it looks intimidating. Like I totally get what you're saying.
Right. I really was a Bray Wyatt fan as a leader of a group, but as a wrestler, as the main attraction, the sole attraction, I should say, because he was obviously the main attraction with the Wyatt family. But as the sole attraction, he's not. He's not. It's also, and I don't want to be that guy, but when it's very obvious in in something like this where it obviously is a huge part of it. It's very clear he's not in the same shape as he was. I don't know if it had to do with him being fired and not being active for 2 years. He was not moving in the way he used to be able to move. Again, I don't want to be that guy, but if someone's obviously in a sport setting, an athletic setting, and they are performing at a much less of a level, it's hard not to mention.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know he suffered, or I don't know. The rumor was that he suffered from like a really bad depressive episode, so he probably.
And I listen, I totally get that, and he should definitely, if that shouldn't hold him back from working and everything, but maybe they should hold off on the matches. There's no reason why he has to wrestle. Again, he's a character act. His whole thing is being. He's great on the mic. Listen, I'm a fan of Bray Wyatt. I am not a fan of his recent work. I just don't think. I didn't even like The Fiend that much, honestly. I didn't think it was that great.
His characters, since he's been the hillbilly, are all like just no-selling things that would kill normal people. Like, it's all just like he got hit over the head with a kendo stick 7 times or whatever and didn't sell it at all. Like,
yeah,
that's a 12-year-old's idea of a good wrestling character.
Right. And Uncle Howdy missing the the elbow drop completely. Oh my god.
I was hoping that it was going to turn out to be Uncle Hardy.
Oh, I will say this. Well, they can't. Jeff Hardy's in.
I know
he's
a drug addict.
Yeah. But I think the most impressive thing right now about the whole Wyatt gimmick is that WWE remembers the characters that he had, because they never remember shit. There's never any continuity, and the fact that they remember the puppet characters is fantastic. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, honestly, if he's not ready to be in the ring or whatever, they should just have him manage, what's her face, Alexa Bliss. Because if they're still gonna have like hints towards that, just have him manage her, and he can bully all of the women. Because then he doesn't have to do much. He just stand outside the ring
he needs a stable. He needs his Wyatt family back, his own version of the bloodline or whatever. He's not. I'm sorry. I think being a solo act actually completely throws all of his weaknesses right out there in the open.
Yeah, which I assume is why they have Uncle Howdy, which I assume is his brother.
They're taking really fucking long delivering there.
Yeah.
And I'm all for letting these storylines play out, but there's also a point where some of them does not help them to let them play out. Like, yeah. I would have loved for the Sami Zayn thing to not have happened at Royal Rumble. I would have loved for them to have continued it. I would have loved if they just kept going with it. I think it was so good. One of my favorite storylines in such a long time. Sami Zayn was great in it. All the Usos and all of them were fucking fantastic in that gimmick.
Yeah.
That angle, I should say.
I'm wondering, because the family couldn't get out of American Samoa for whatever reason, like Afa and Sika and all of the old like wild Samoans from the 80s, they were supposed to be there, like on the Go Home show.
Right, and I heard about that. Right.
Yeah, they couldn't get visas or something. So I'm wondering.
That better not be why they pulled the trigger on Sami Zayn. They didn't need to do that. Like, I get why that's the way they did the trial of Sami Zayn instead of the acknowledgement ceremony or whatever. But let's keep talking about let's keep going with Women's Rumble. I always really enjoy the Women's Rumble. I really think it showcases just how the women wrestlers in the WWE are, a good portion of them are a totally different level than any other American promotion, and also miles ahead of some of even the men in the WWE. Mm-hmm. I mean,
they need some bigger girls though.
Rhea Ripley is so fucking good. Oh my god, to watch her completely become the character she's become from just like an NXT noob has been fantastic. She is so fucking good. I think she's got the ability to become the fucking face of the company, like including the men. I think she's that good.
Yeah,
she's got the talent. She's got the.
She's gonna hang around.
What's that?
I don't think she's gonna hang around. I think she's gonna end up, somewhere in Hollywood.
I don't know. She's just really fucking good. This mommy stuff with Dominic Mysterio is so good.
And
I
he's
did not.
really good with that too.
He's really good with it. But I think she is the most shocking in terms of what she has to offer. She's really good. I'm so happy she won that because she should be the face of the company. Honestly, I think she's that good. She can be what Roman Reigns is, honestly. And I think she's so good at that character. She might be able to even excel further than that. Roman Reigns really has also stepped it up. I'm able to separate them as people and actual talent from what they portray and what they're told to do. I fucking hated John Cena, but the character John Cena, I think the guy obviously has talent and everything, but when he was the face of WWE, I fucking hated him and how he was the goody two shoes face, and they just wouldn't let anyone actually seem like they could beat John Cena. It makes no sense for a face, the good guy, to be the superhero. Every wrestling storyline works better when the face is chasing after the undefeatable heel. So I thought WWE at that point was horrible. And I hated Cena while also realizing the dude's great at what he does. I felt the same way about Roman. I thought he was a great wrestler. I fucking could not stand Roman Reigns, the character. Complete 180 on that now. I think he's fucking great now.
Yeah, no, I got you. I never saw the whole. I mean, I wasn't watching back then. Like, I missed the whole Punk Shield. Like once Batista was gone, I kind of checked out. He was kind of my dude. Like, I don't know what it was about him, but like, so I mean, he's turned into a great actor. But like, something about just being like basically the Hulk walking through everyone was entertaining to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, again, probably because I grew up watching, Hulk Hogan and that kind of stuff, and so that was always my idea of like a face or whatever. So I'm kind of more okay with it, I think. Like, I knew people who loved the Four Horsemen, but Ric Flair's such a piece of shit, and I felt like I could tell it like from the time I was 5. I was like, why do people like this guy? He's clearly a douchebag.
Yeah, I think you could tell when someone actually lives their gimmick. I think a lot of times you can tell. And I think it was pretty clear early on to me, too, that Ric Flair, not probably a great person. Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I mean, yeah. No, I thought the way they did it at the end, at least with Sammy turning on Reigns.
I wish it was so well done. I wish they didn't do it yet, though. Like, I selfishly wanted more of Sami Zayn in the bloodline. I will say, and this is probably what people are wondering too, my feelings on Logan Paul. I think...
Yeah, that's actually why I brought it up.
The dude obviously has natural talent in the ring, both athletically and in terms of charismatically. I think he's got it, obviously. I think he's a horrible person, but he clearly has a talent for this. I think he is not on the level of someone who can come and go as he pleases and act like a celebrity. I think they either say, you do this, you sign with us, and you live by our, the rules that we put on every other wrestler. I don't mean the independent contractor stuff. I think they're obviously horrible about that. But I mean, like, the way they need to act like you would act for any company you're even a contractor for. There's certain things you can't do, otherwise you would get released from your contract. They need to throw that out there for him. Say you will be signed, but you gotta do this. You gotta do this. I don't think they could. He's not Bad Bunny. He's not a fucking massive mainstream celebrity, nor is he a legendary wrestler who's earned the ability to just do this shit whenever, like a part-timer. He either does it or he doesn't. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I guess because of the number of followers he has, maybe they just feel that it's worth it monetarily, but I will say it is the first time, other than Bad Bunny, it is the first time that they've brought on someone that was socially relevant at the time in like the last 20 years. But they're always like,
wouldn't surprise me if they have no idea why he's relevant now and they found out about him from his YouTube days early on, you know?
that's true. That is true. Like they might, oh, this kid is big on YouTube. Go get him. Like, yeah. No, because they're always like, they had Pitbull on like 7 years after he was popular.
I mean, I mean, maybe it's just me downplaying internet celebrity, but someone like a huge musical artist who sells out massive arenas worldwide like Bad Bunny does should not be seen on the same cultural level as a Logan Paul, which is what I think WWE does in the way they treat them both.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's pretty weird. Last thing I wanted to
look. Imagine the Miz tried to pull this shit. They put the Miz through fucking torture for him to be accepted by the wrestling world. Like, that's what Logan Paul... Like, I don't think, obviously, it's right to treat someone the way they treated... Some of the rumors I heard about how they treated The Miz. That whole bullying bullshit needs to go out the door.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, The Miz fucking put it all into this. Like, he dropped... This is what he wanted to do. And he dedicated his life to doing this.
Yeah.
Logan Paul should be expected to do what The Miz did. They're on the same... reality TV show bullshit level, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you might be right. I mean, we're underestimating.
I mean, Real World was fucking huge back when The Miz was on. I would say that's the same cultural relevance in that time period as the fucking big YouTubers of today have today.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I mean, I think the difference might be just the locker room, like, because I don't think Vince put The Miz through anything. I think it was douchebags like The Undertaker.
JBL.
Yeah, and JBL. Like, I don't think they have many of those guys in the locker room anymore that are would even consider doing that. I mean, Randy Orton might, but that's about it.
He's barely there nowadays.
Yeah, nice job if you can get it like $10 million a year to show up 5 times. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I will say, as much as I despise him, I think Logan Paul is much more naturally talented than The Miz ever was. But
it's hard when someone's a really good high flyer or spot wrestler. They always look really good.
That's true.
Can Logan Paul produce a Bret Hart storytelling classic? That remains to be seen.
Well, yeah, sure. It's like when Ronda Rousey debuted, and she looked great for.
I would say I'm not gonna put The Miz on Bret Hart's level, but The Miz has shown that he's able to tell in-ring stories at a high level.
Yeah. I never got The Miz. Like, I always, he was one of those. I just wanted to change the channel. But
I feel like he's peaked. I think his career is obviously on a downward trend. But when he was on top of his game, I thought he was very good. I was never a fan of him and his character, but I feel like he did. He showed that he had it. He's got it, I should say.
That's fair. I don't know. Like I said, I was never a big fan. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick was California has passed a law that takes effect in 2 days, where essentially if cities have not submitted a plan that meets with the state's approval, they lose the right to zone. Like, so the residential, commercial, industrial zoning will still stay, but like the density zoning will fall under state control. So like San Francisco's plan, which was just approved. They're going to add 80,000 units in the next of housing in the next, I think it's either 5 or 10 years. And so like there's a lot of very rich places that are all of a sudden going to fall under state control for housing density. It's going to be a very interesting time over the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
And I know, like, there are, like, California's density problems are pretty unique in that, like, the lack of density is pretty unique in that it's been prevented artificially through CEQA, which is you have to do an air quality study before you can approve any zoning changes or whatever. And so that, like, every time they try to densify anything, it goes to the courts, and you've got to do a years-long like a air quality impact study, and it usually takes years and lots of money or whatever. So it's but it's very encouraging. So like, and this has been a long time coming, and we've sort of been fighting against NIMBYs forever, and they have all the money and they are losing, and it's just, as much as it sucks and to hear we'll just go vote or whatever, like, this kind of shit doesn't change unless you actually show up and elect people who vote for this stuff. So I think it's an encouraging story, especially if you're feeling like you can't win. Like it's the same thing nationally. Like, the squad has doubled or tripled in size over the last 4 to 6 years. So like, you just got to keep at it. It sucks, but it would be lovely if it could change right away. But I think it's a great victory, and it's something to be noted.
Right. No, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, and I've heard that there's issue. I mean, obviously, housing in New York has always been an issue, but I've heard that there's been some sort of progress there, but I don't know exactly. I don't follow New York politics very much, so.
Right. No, it's similar in some ways. Not exactly the same, but I think generally the issues are there's overlap. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Now if we could just get rid of fucking Prop 13, let's people. So my last landlord bought Prop 13. Pretty much only allows them to raise your property tax assessment 1%, a maximum of like 1% a year. And so like and that's for the assessment, not the tax. So there are houses that are worth $2.5 million that were bought in 1975 for like $40,000, and they're taxed as though they're worth $80,000, because essentially, like, you can only, the limit for Ryan, you're really a nice guy in chat. Sorry.
No, it's all good. What'd he say?
Apparently I've only ever talked about electoralism and wrestling on this show, which
Right.
We've talked about Elon Musk. That's true.
Just wait for a pro wrestler, the next pro wrestler to run for office. Then you and I will have plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't wait to vote against The Rock when he runs as a libertarian. But yeah, so they essentially what happens is there's people paying property taxes as though they own an $80,000 house, whereas most states reassess every 2 or 5 or 10 years for the property value. So like you've got a bunch of boomers and Gen Xers squatting on property and paying almost nothing in property taxes, which is why we have a bunch of fucked up schools that are way underfunded, and they refuse to allow redevelopment, but then they also run campaigns saying save our middle school, please donate money to this, and it's just like it's so fucked up.
Right. Well, Josh, it's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
You too, man. Bye.
All right, folks. I just realized what time it was, and I didn't realize I was having so much fun on the first half and with the calls that I wondered why I was getting so tired. I thought it was much earlier. We're hitting the 2.5 hour mark. I am going to read some chats, and then we're going to call it a night. Kowalski with a super chat. All right, I'll take this call because I can't help it. Oh, they hung up. All right, I guess I won't take the call. All right, Kowalski with a super chat. Nikki Haley announced their 2024 presidential run. Ooh, I just saw. Not officially yet, though. Apparently in 2 weeks, but that seems to be the word. Can't wait to see her campaign go up in flames, because it definitely will. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Charlie. Sorry about that.
Hey, Charlie, no problem. But I'm going to ask really quick, because I was going to call it a night. So let's do a truncated call, I guess you can say. You can always call back again next time, and we'll talk longer.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't want to say very much anyway. The Utah bill thing for banning gender affirming care for kids, reminded me to once again state the public service announcement. If you're looking for safe states, Western Washington is safe for now, and if things get really bad, we are right next to Canada. In fact, I think most of the states on the West Coast are pretty safe. So, it's just every time something like this happens, that's the first thing that pops into my mind, and I just can't hammer that home enough. Like, find safe states, and anybody who lives in a state where they feel safe, tell people, this is a safe state for you, network and communicate, stuff like that.
There you go. I'm glad you called. I'm glad I took the call for you to get us that information for anyone who's listening who could possibly use it.
Yeah, I mean, we all got to look out for each other. But anyway, yeah, you have a good night, bud.
Absolutely. You too. Take care. Mariah, this was from before Mariah called in. Hi with super chat. Hi, Maddie B and Doomers. Wanda with a super chat. You should invite Rayyvana to Leftist Mafia as guest. Yes, she would make a great guest for Leftist Mafia on Thursdays. I will make a note of that. Thank you, Wanda. Great suggestion. C. Dejinmer with a super chat. Have some caffeine cash. Thank you. Midnight Pizza Man with a super chat. The Majority Report Boiler Room match. I like that. It's the perfect one. Thank you. I appreciate that. Over on Twitch. Let's go to let's see. Valinova cheered 500 bits. Thank you so much. Don James cheered 23 bits. Thank you. One Less Name resubscribed at tier 1 subscriber for 6 months. Thank you so much. Lord Hemmel subscribed with Prime. Thank you. Valinova gave out 5 community gift subs. Thank you so much, Valinova. We got Nug Wrangler resubscribed with Prime subscriber for 12 months. Thank you so much. Real Paza subscribed with Prime. Thank you. Really appreciate it. First time chat. I just saw this. Let's see what this person said. A Slippery Lizard says, I think the vast majority of AI porn viewers just think so-and-so is hot and want to see porn of them. It's wrong and disrespectful, but I think it's a little reaching to say they just hate all women. I mean, I think you're looking at it in the sense of like someone who's just like seething, going like, I fucking hate women. Like, no, I mean, if you disrespect someone enough where you would purchase their likeness in sexual positions. I mean, you clearly don't respect them. I mean, would you do that to your male buddies if you are that guy doing that to a woman that you know? I think when we say it's a hatred towards women, it doesn't always necessarily mean like the fucking incels wanting to see women die or some shit like that, or fantasizing about hurting them physically. I mean, you clearly have a lack of respect for someone if you're willing to do that to them. That's and that usually goes across to, it's not just, that particular woman, because they would probably do it to other women that they know. I think that's the that's hatred, honestly. Again, it's a disrespect beyond, I think, the word disrespect fits. I mean, men have been, and people fantasize about those that they are attracted to all the time, I'm sure. Like, everybody does it, even if they're not willfully doing it. People have dreams and things like that. There is a different, there's an extra step in actually creating something, using them in the real world. I also think it's extremely weird to do it in a sense where it's being shared online. If you were to do it, I still think this is wrong and weird, but if you were to for yourself create this stuff on your own, it's obviously still weird and wrong. But it's that much weirder and wrong that there's money exchanging hands, that you're getting this created in on the internet, where it will eventually, no doubt about it, be shared in one way or another, whether you want it to or not. I mean, it's very weird behavior to create this stuff. I'm sorry. Especially if you know someone. Especially weird. Someone you know. Master Cat PDX resubscriber, Prime subscriber for 3 months. They said. Thank you so much. All right, folks. This is the show for today. Very interesting conversations. Obviously, I enjoy always talking about dystopian technology. I mean, listen, I see this conversation continuing in the chat. Listen, if you, I just think it's so weird to, like, there is no individual that I've ever obsessed over where, like, I had to see this specific individual nude. Like everybody, I've watched porn. Even like porn stars, people who do it for like who consensually do this stuff. There's never been a specific porn star that I've ogled over that I needed to see this individual's material. It's very weird to me. I'm sorry. And the porn stuff is fine, even though I find it weird, because obviously these are women who are fine doing it, and that's what they want to do, and they consent to this stuff. To creating the content, and people, I'm sure they like that there are people who are fans of theirs, because that means they give them more money, that's fine. I would not be in that category, because there's never been like one specific performer that I was like, oh, I need to see this person's content. So I think it's super weird that there are people who obsess over people who are not even in the adult industry and are like, I need to see this person engage in this stuff. I mean, that to me is that to me is just outright bizarre right there on its own. So yeah. Josh says your father is watching, sir. I mean, I think every person has watched something, right? I mean, every person, whether it was back in the day with scrambling your cable box to try to get the the fucking the pay for channels, to today with it just being so easily available. So yeah, I mean, obviously, we're no doubt going to be talking more about this stuff, because this stuff's going to keep happening. It's going to happen just more and more, honestly. So yeah. There'll be plenty more to talk about, sadly, in the future. All right, folks. Always a pleasure to talk with you all. Always a pleasure to spend time with you all. I will let you know when Scam Economy is. It's not tomorrow because I have family stuff to do. Oh, Rick's Americana with a $10 super chat at the last minute. Thanks for taking my call from West Hollywood tonight. I appreciate your work, and thank you for calling in. And feel free to call in anytime. Emily, I appreciate the words you're saying in the YouTube chat. And I'm glad you feel comfortable saying this stuff with in this chat with not only me, but the viewers of the show. All right, folks, let's go to who should I rate on Twitch? Who am I rating here? Is Rayyvana on? That'd be funny. But she's not. Who do we got on right now? Give me someone to rate. Who should I rate? Amy EC3, Echoplex Media. All right, we got 2 for Amy EC3, and that's the only person to get more than one person suggesting them. So we'll go with Amy's channel here. Let me just pull that up, and here we go. Have a great night, everyone. Enjoy Amy's show if you're watching her stream, and I'll see you all very soon. I'll let you all know when the next episode of Scam Economy is, and of course, Doomed Tuesdays as always. And if I do any other streams and stuff like that, Majority Report on Thursday, Leftist Mafia on Thursday. Follow me on Twitter and elsewhere, and I'll always tweet out what I'm doing. Have a great night.